March 3rd, 1995. A small laboratory in Boston. A woman sits quietly in an fMRI scanner while scientists wait to see how her brain reacts to fear. They show her disturbing images, things that should activate the so-called fear center of the brain. But nothing happens. No specific fear area lights up. No dedicated emotional circuit. Just a messy, unpredictable pattern of activity, different every time. And one of the scientists watching, Lisa Feldman Barrett, slowly leans back and whispers, "What if emotions aren't built in the brain at all?" Oh, my friend, that single question shook psychology to its core. Because for more than 100 years, everyone believed emotions were like buttons inside the brain. Press one spot, you get fear. Press another, anger. Press another, joy. Simple, right? Well, the human brain is never that simple. As more experiments came in, more brain scans, more data, more evidence, something strange appeared. No one felt emotions in the same place. No one reacted in the same pattern. No two brains behaved the same way. It was chaos. And then the idea hit her. A radical idea, an idea that flipped the entire science of emotion upside down. Your brain doesn't discover emotions. It creates them. Let that sink in for a moment. Your brain is not reacting to the world. Your brain is predicting the world. It guesses what's happening. It guesses what you're feeling. And you just believe it. Oh, my friend, your emotions might be your brain's best guesses, not truths. Think about it. That tightness in your chest, is it anxiety, or did you just drink too much coffee? That heaviness in your stomach, sadness, or did you skip breakfast? That irritation you're feeling, anger, or are you just tired, dehydrated, and low on sleep? Half your emotional life might be your body saying, "Hey buddy, I need water." But your brain interprets it as, "I'm stressed, I'm angry, I'm overwhelmed." What a trickster. Now, imagine this. Two people standing in the same storm. One terrified, one excited. Same rain, same thunder, same heartbeat. Different emotions. Not because their brains found different feelings, but because their brains predicted different meanings. Your past shapes your emotions. Your culture shapes your emotions. Your experiences shape your emotions. You didn't learn emotional intelligence growing up. You learned emotional concepts. Your brain literally taught you how to feel. And the wildest part? If your brain can construct emotions, then you, my friend, can reconstruct them. You can reshape how you interpret your body. You can rebuild your emotional vocabulary. You can change how you feel by changing what your brain predicts. This book, this journey, is not about controlling emotions. It's about understanding that emotions were never controlling you in the first place. So sit with me, take a breath, and let's walk into the secret life of your brain. Because today, my friend, you're not just learning how emotions are made. You're learning how you are made. And this moment right here, is the first step toward emotional freedom. Welcome. You're listening to Wise Alchemy. Now that we've stepped through the doorway of this strange world of emotions, let's slow down, take a breath, and actually look at what science used to believe
and how everything quietly started falling apart. Because emotions, these things that feel so real, so intense, so automatic, were supposed to be simple. Yeah, simple. You and I both know nothing in the mind is ever simple. But for most of modern history, scientists genuinely believed emotions were like electrical switches. Flip this part of the brain, boom, fear. Flip that part, anger. Another, joy. It all sounded so clean, so organized, so comforting. The brain loves to embarrass our confidence. Let's start with what the textbooks taught for decades. The amygdala was the fear center. The hypothalamus was the anger engine. The limbic system was the emotion headquarters. Emotions were built-in, universal, biological responses. A tiger jumps out, you feel fear. Someone insults you, you feel anger. You win something, you feel joy. Straightforward, predictable, almost mechanical. If only humans worked like robots. Even before Lisa Feldman Barrett changed the system, scientists were noticing something strange. People with damaged fear centers still felt fear. People missing anger circuits still got angry. Some people felt sadness with a smile. Others felt joy with tears. There were no clean emotional signatures. But, science did what it always does when confused. It ignored the weird parts. Until the weird parts became impossible to ignore. Here's where the real mind-bending shift begins. Scientists realize something subtle but profound. The brain doesn't wait for the world to tell it what's happening. It predicts what's happening before it actually happens. It runs ahead of reality, faster than your awareness, faster than your thoughts. The moment your body sends signals, a tight chest, sweaty palms, a fast heartbeat, your brain doesn't say, I wonder what this is. No, it jumps straight into storytelling mode. This feels like fear. This might be excitement. This could be stress. Oh wait, maybe this is anger. Your brain is not reacting. It's interpreting. It's guessing. And 90% of the time, it's guessing based on your past, not the present. Our emotions are not windows to reality. They are reflections of our memories. Have you ever noticed that two people watching the same scary movie have totally different reactions? One screams, one laughs, one feels nothing at all. Same movie, same images, same sound. Different emotions. Why? Because the body sends vague signals, and the brain uses personal history to decide the meaning. Your heart racing might mean fear, attraction, anger, stress, excitement. The brain chooses the interpretation that matches your past experiences. It's like the brain is saying, yes, I've seen this before. Let me guess what you're feeling. And sometimes, it guesses terribly wrong. Here comes the surprising part. If we scanned your brain while you felt anger on Monday and scanned your brain again while you felt anger on Thursday, the two scans might look nothing alike. No consistent anger area, no stable emotional fingerprint. Emotions don't live anywhere. There is no fear center. There is no sadness zone. There is no love circuit. What you feel as emotion is your brain assembling a meaning from scattered signals, memories, and learned concepts. Almost like your brain is improvising a story every second. Let me tell you something gently, my friend. You don't feel emotions. You construct them. Your brain combines the body sensations, your past experiences, cultural concepts, predictions, social learning, into an emotional conclusion. Emotions are not pre-installed software. They are custom-made every time. That's why you can cry from joy, laugh from stress, freeze from excitement, shake from anticipation, and feel anger and fear mixed together like a confused cocktail. Your brain is not a filing cabinet. It's a storyteller. Here's the idea that transforms everything. Emotions are not reactions. They are constructions. Created, predicted, assembled, rewritten every single moment. And if your brain is constructing your emotional reality, then you, my friend, can learn to reshape how that reality is constructed. This is where emotional freedom begins. Not by fighting emotions, but by understanding the machine that makes them. The real secret of emotions, the one most people never learn, is that your brain is predicting your life before you even live it. And it does this constantly, quietly, invisibly, like a backstage crew running the entire show while you think you're the actor. Let me explain. Right now, as you're listening, your brain isn't waiting for my next word. It's already guessing what I might say. When you reach for a cup, your brain predicts the weight before you lift it. When you walk, your brain predicts the floor before your foot lands. When someone looks at you a certain way, your brain predicts their intention before they even speak. Prediction is your brain's default mode, not reaction, prediction. The brain doesn't want to wait. Waiting is slow. Waiting is dangerous. Waiting can get you killed. So instead, your brain jumps ahead. It fills in gaps. It creates meaning. It imagines outcomes. It anticipates emotions. And oh, my friend, this prediction engine is so fast, you mistake it for the truth. Let me show you something simple. When you walk into a dark room and your heart suddenly tightens, what's happening? The room didn't attack you. No ghost whispered your name. No monster grabbed your ankle. Your brain predicted danger before your senses confirmed anything. The body reacts first. The brain explains it later. And that explanation becomes your emotion. Fear isn't something you discovered in the darkness. It's something your brain predicted based on thousands of past experiences where dark equals possible threat. Your heart races, your breath shortens, and your brain quickly labels this sensation. This must be fear. But is it fear? Or is it just your brain being a little dramatic? Honestly, the brain wins Best Drama Award every year. Lisa Feldman Barrett gives a beautiful example. When a baseball flies toward you, your brain predicts its trajectory before your eyes track it. Otherwise, you'd never catch it. Eyes are too slow. Similarly, when your stomach tightens, when your chest feels heavy, when your muscles tense, your brain doesn't analyze it like a scientist. It predicts an emotion. Ah, yes, this is stress. No, wait, maybe this is anger. Could be excitement. Or maybe I'm just hungry. Your brain is doing its best with the information it has, but sometimes it mislabels the entire experience. Here's where it gets personal. Your brain uses the past to guess the present. If your past taught you that a racing heart means panic, your brain will predict panic. If your past taught you that a racing heart means excitement, your brain predicts excitement. The body sensation is the same. The meaning you give it is different. Imagine two people standing on a tall cliff. One says, this is terrifying. The other says, oh my God, this is thrilling. Same cliff, same wind, same heartbeat. Different emotional predictions. Your brain doesn't create emotions out of thin air. It creates them out of your history. Think about how much of you is really just your past repeating itself. This one hits hard. Your brain is not trying to make you emotionally accurate. It's trying to make you emotionally efficient, meaning it wants to react fast, not perfectly. So instead of deeply analyzing whether your stomach tension is sadness or fear or caffeine, your brain quickly predicts the emotion you experience most often. It chooses the familiar story. That's why some people default to anger, some default to anxiety, some default to hopelessness, some default to avoidance, some default to numbness. Not because these emotions are who they are, but because these are the predictions their brain learned to make. Your emotional habits are built from emotional predictions. Oh, my friend, you are not broken. Your brain simply learned a pattern. And anything learned can be unlearned. Right now, yes, even now, your brain is scanning your breathing, your heart rate, your posture, your muscle tension, your facial expression, your hydration, your gut signals. And it's turning these sensations into meaning. That meaning becomes your emotion. Not fate, not truth, not destiny. Prediction. The brain is guessing what you feel, using the same process it uses to guess what you see, hear, taste, and expect. And that, my friend, is why emotions feel real, but are also flexible. Change the prediction, change the emotion, change the experience. Here's the takeaway, the gift. Your emotional life is not a prison, it's a construction project. Your brain is not forcing emotions on you, it's creating them to help you survive. And once we understand the prediction engine, we can start teaching it new predictions. Imagine waking up and realizing, I don't have to feel what I used to feel. I can teach my brain a new emotional language. Now that we've stepped into the brain's prediction engine, let's shift our attention downward, into the place where emotions actually begin. Not in your thoughts, not in your memories, not in the stories you tell yourself. Your body whispers the sensations, and your brain invents the emotion. Let me explain. Picture this. You wake up one morning feeling off. Your chest feels heavy. Your stomach feels tight. Your muscles feel stiff. Your breathing feels shallow. Most people immediately think, I'm stressed. Maybe I'm sad. Something is wrong with me. I feel anxious. But, your body hasn't said any of those words. It only said, energy low, chest tight, stomach active, muscles tense. Those sensations are raw signals, physical data. They are not emotions. Your brain turns them into emotions. We all know about the five senses:
sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. But there's a sixth one you've been using your whole life, silently, unknowingly. Interoception, the sense of your internal world. It tells your brain how thirsty you are, how tired you are, your blood sugar, your heart rate, your breathing, your gut signals, your hormones, your muscle tension, your temperature. And this internal sense is messy. Sometimes your stomach growls because you're hungry. Sometimes because you're anxious. Sometimes because you haven't slept. Sometimes because you drank too much coffee. But the body doesn't label anything. It just sends the sensations. Your brain goes, stomach loud, heart fast, shoulders tight. Maybe this is anxiety. And just like that, your brain constructs an emotion. Lisa Feldman Barrett uses a beautiful term, body budget. Your brain is constantly managing energy like a financial accountant. If your body budget is low, dehydration, hunger, poor sleep, chronic stress, exhaustion, low vitamins, social isolation, your brain predicts negative emotions. Not because life is bad, but because your body is overdrawn. Many people think they have emotional problems when really they have body budget problems. Sometimes you don't need therapy. You need water, sleep, a walk, and a sandwich. Here's the loop your brain uses thousands of times per day. Body, heart fast. Brain, why would the heart be fast? Brain checks history. When did we feel this before? Past memory. Oh yes, last time this happened, we were stressed. Brain, okay, then this must be stress. But imagine the same sensation during a gym workout, watching someone you like, riding a roller coaster, opening a surprise message, stepping on stage, waiting for results. Your heart is fast in all of those moments, but the emotion is completely different. The body sensation is identical. The brain's interpretation changes everything. This is why emotions feel so real, because they come from real sensations. But the meaning is constructed. Let me tell you something gentle. Sometimes your brain is not lying to you. Your body is giving confusing signals, and your brain is doing the best it can with what it has. Let's take an example. You skip breakfast. Your blood sugar drops. You feel dizzy. Your heart speeds up. Your stomach tightens. Your brain goes, anxiety? But your body is saying, bro, I just need food. Or imagine you haven't slept well for 2 nights. Your muscles ache. Your mood drops. Your energy collapses. Your brain predicts sadness, overwhelm, hopelessness. But your body is saying low battery. This is why emotional clarity is so rare. We confuse the body for the emotion, and the emotion becomes the story. When you realize that emotions begin in the body, not the mind, you unlock a deep superpower. You can intervene before the emotion takes shape. Because if you change the body, you change the prediction, which changes the emotion. A calmer body, a calmer brain, a calmer emotional state. A tense body, a tense brain, a negative emotional prediction. Your brain interprets your body like a weather forecaster. Clouds in the chest, storms in the stomach,
tight winds around the shoulders. Okay, today's feeling is probably stress. But you can change the weather. You can adjust your body budget and shift the emotional forecast. Let's wrap this gently. Your body creates the sensations. Your brain creates the stories. And you create the meaning. Your emotions are not mysteries. They're constructions. They're predictions. They're interpretations. Which means you are not powerless. You are not trapped in what you feel. You can influence the story your brain writes.
What if I told you that the emotions you feel, the anger, the sadness, the shame, the confidence, are not universal human experiences? Yeah, they're not built in. They're not hardwired. They're not the same everywhere. In fact, many of the emotions you think are natural are actually taught to you by your family, your culture, your language, your society. Prepare for your emotional world to flip upside down. When you say anger, you think everyone else in the world feels the same thing when they're angry. Nope. In some cultures, anger is seen as a sign of strength. In others, it's seen as childish. In some languages, there isn't even a clear word for anger. They might combine anger with sadness, or anger with shame, or anger with fear. What you call an emotion might be completely unrecognizable to someone from another culture. Imagine telling someone in rural Japan about self-esteem issues. They might look at you like, what does that even mean? Because their culture didn't teach them that internal struggle. And that's the key here. Your emotions depend on the concepts your culture gives you. Without the concept, you can't even feel the emotion. When you were a child, you didn't know what sad meant. You didn't know what frustrated meant. You didn't know embarrassed, proud, jealous, or anxious. You felt physical sensations: tight chest, warm face, heavy body, fast heartbeat. Your parents, teachers, friends, they told you what those sensations meant. Oh, sweetheart, you're sad. You should be ashamed. Don't be angry. You're excited. You're being dramatic. Stop crying, nothing is wrong. This is how your emotional blueprint was written. Your feelings are not born from nature. They're born from language. You didn't learn emotions. You learned the words that help your brain construct emotions. Without the words, your brain has no category. And without the category, your brain can't predict the emotion. That means your emotional life is shaped by the emotional vocabulary you inherited. Anthropologists discovered tribes where people do not have a word for sadness, not because they don't experience loss, but because they don't interpret that sensation as sadness. They might interpret it as tiredness, spiritual imbalance, social disconnection, physical weakness. The same sensation, different emotional meaning. That means sadness is not universal. It's cultural. What you feel as sad might be something completely different in someone else's mind. Let me give you some beautiful examples. Lykke, Danish, a warm, quiet happiness from simple things. Sukha, Sanskrit, a deep, peaceful joy that comes from alignment with life. Amai, Japanese, the feeling of being lovingly dependent on someone you trust. Gezelligheid, Dutch, a cozy warmth from good company and comfort. Tarab, Arabic, the emotional ecstasy from music that touches the soul. None of these emotions have direct English equivalents, which means if you don't have the concept, your brain doesn't know how to build the emotion in the first place. Your emotional range is limited by your emotional dictionary. Let's return to science for a moment. Remember, your brain constructs emotions using sensations plus predictions plus concepts. Without a concept, the brain cannot label the sensation. Without a label, the brain cannot predict the emotion. Without prediction, the emotion cannot exist. It's like trying to understand music without knowing rhythm. Your brain needs the idea before it can create the emotion. So, if you grew up in a family where sadness was ignored, anger was punished, affection was rare, anxiety wasn't discussed, vulnerability was mocked, then your emotional vocabulary is small. Your brain has fewer concepts. Your emotional world becomes limited, confusing, painful. And that's not your fault. You can only feel the emotions you were taught to construct. You, my friend, can learn new emotional concepts. You can expand your emotional vocabulary. And when you do, your brain suddenly gets new tools, new categories, new predictions, new emotional experiences. Imagine learning a new emotion like learning a new color. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you know it, your brain can create it. Your emotional world becomes richer, deeper, more nuanced. You don't just feel sad, you feel longing, disappointment, melancholy, fatigue, tenderness, reflection, emotional hunger. You don't just feel angry, you feel violated, irritated, protective, overwhelmed, boundary crossed, insecure, unheard. The more emotional concepts you gain, the more accurately your brain interprets your body. This is emotional intelligence, not controlling feelings, but expanding the concepts that shape them. Your emotions are not universal. They are cultural. They are learned. They are constructed. Your emotional life is shaped by the words you grew up hearing, the emotions your family allowed, the concepts your society valued, the stories your culture told you, the emotional language you were taught. You are not trapped by your emotions, but you might be trapped by your emotional vocabulary. And the beautiful truth, you can expand it. You're ready for one of the most misunderstood ideas in modern psychology. An idea so persistent that even today, some scientists still cling to it like an old childhood blanket. It's the belief that emotions come from special parts of the brain. Yeah, that fear has a home. Anger has a home. Sadness lives in a particular room. And joy has its own little apartment somewhere in the limbic system. If only the brain were that tidy. Let's break this myth once and for all. For decades, textbooks told us the same comforting narrative. The amygdala is the fear center. The hypothalamus generates anger. The prefrontal cortex controls logic. The limbic system is the emotional brain. It looked so scientific on paper. Color-coded diagrams, neat lines, perfect labels, perfect order. But here's the truth. Those diagrams were invented before we had real technology to see what was happening in the brain. They were educated guesses. And when fMRI machines finally allowed scientists to see the brain in action, everything fell apart. Imagine this.
Scientists ask people to feel anger and scan their brains. Then they ask them again the next day. My friend, the two scans look nothing alike. Then they asked different people to feel anger. Again, every brain looks completely different. There was no anger spot. Then they try fear. The so-called fear center, the amygdala, doesn't always activate. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's active, sometimes other areas take over. Confusing, right? But there's more. This is the discovery that shocked everyone. There are rare individuals whose amygdala is destroyed from birth, meaning, according to old science, they should never feel fear. But one woman with no amygdala stepped into a haunted house and screamed like anyone else. Another person had a near-death experience and later described pure fear, even though they had no functional amygdala at all. So what does that mean? It means the amygdala is not the fear center. Fear does not live in one place. Fear is a network, a flexible, shifting pattern the brain builds depending on the situation. This is the radical, powerful truth. Emotions are not produced by parts of the brain. They are produced by patterns of the brain. The networks change. The circuits shift. The combinations adapt. Your brain is improvising emotions the way a jazz musician improvises music. Same instrument, infinite expressions. This is why anger today doesn't feel like anger last month. Sadness at 2 a.m. is not the same sadness at 2 p.m. Joy can come from silence one day and laughter the next. Anxiety can appear with no trigger. Love can feel different depending on your history. Because emotions don't come from a fixed place. They come from a dynamic brain-body prediction system. Barrett famously said, "There is no emotional brain. There is only a brain that creates emotions." Imagine that. Your brain constructs anger, constructs joy, constructs fear, constructs hope, constructs confidence, constructs guilt. Not because these emotions are pre-programmed, but because your brain learned how to interpret your body and your world. The emotions you feel today are not baked into your biology, they're built from your experiences. This means your emotional destiny is not fixed. That's freedom. Let's slow down and feel the impact. If emotions lived in specific brain regions, then a person with an overactive amygdala would always feel fear. A person with a damaged anger center could never get angry. A person with a broken sadness circuit would never cry. But that's not how humans work. Instead, your emotions change. Your patterns shift. Your brain learns. Your brain adapts. Your emotional life evolves. This means you're not wired for fear. You're not wired for anxiety. You're not wired for sadness. You're not wired for anger. You simply learned certain emotional patterns, and anything learned can be unlearned, rewritten, reshaped. This chapter isn't telling you emotions aren't real. It's telling you emotions are powerful because they're flexible. So here is the lesson, my friend. There is no emotional brain. There is only a brain that performs emotional construction. Not fixed, not bound, not destined. You are not a prisoner of your emotional circuits. You are the architect of your emotional experience.
If you truly want to understand your emotions, You have to go back to a time before you had any, before you had words, before you had labels, before you had anger, sadness, jealousy, pride, anxiety. Back when you were just a tiny human, feeling raw sensations with no story attached. Your chest tightened, your face warmed, your stomach fluttered, but you didn't know what any of it meant. You just cried, or laughed, or stared at the ceiling in confusion. And then, someone else told you what you were feeling. Your earliest emotions weren't yours. They were given to you. A parent kneels beside you and says, "Oh, sweetheart, you're sad." And your brain goes, "Ah, so this sensation is called sadness." Another day, someone scolds you, "Don't get angry." Your brain goes, so this heat in my chest must be anger." Someone laughs and says, "Aw, you're shy." And your brain quietly writes that into its emotional dictionary. Your emotional vocabulary was built long before you ever had a choice. You learned what emotions meant before you learned what emotions felt like. Remember this truth. Your brain can't feel an emotion unless it has a concept for it. If your brain has no category for jealousy, you won't recognize jealousy. It will show up as confusion, irritation, discomfort, but not jealousy. If you grew up in a home where sadness was ignored, your brain never learned the concept of sadness properly. So as an adult, you might feel a tight chest, heaviness, low energy, and your brain mislabels it as anger or laziness or anxiety or being dramatic. Because without a concept, your brain has to guess, and it guesses based on what you were taught. Think back. Some families teach children, "Don't cry, be strong. Stop being angry. Why are you scared? Everyone is watching. Don't talk back. Don't be too emotional." Some parents teach, "Talk to me. What are you feeling? It's okay to be upset. Let's understand what's happening inside you." These two emotional environments produce two very different adults. One becomes emotionally confused. The other becomes emotionally aware. You didn't just learn words, you learned permission. You learned what emotions were allowed and what emotions were forbidden. Many adults today aren't emotionally broken, they're emotionally undereducated. No one taught them how to feel. Every culture also values different emotions. In some cultures, anger is normal. Shame is expected. Pride is discouraged. Emotional expression is a weakness. In others, feelings are openly shared. Emotional language is rich. Sadness is socially supported. Vulnerability is strength. Your culture didn't just give you emotions, it gave you rules about those emotions. Rules like boys shouldn't cry, girls shouldn't be angry, don't talk about your feelings, always stay positive. These rules become emotional walls inside your mind. They limit the emotions your brain allows you to access. But here's the beautiful part. You can break these rules. You can rewrite the emotional concepts you inherited. Imagine your brain is a toolbox. When you were a child, you were given a hammer called sadness, a screwdriver called anger, a tiny wrench called fear. But as you grew older, life became more complex, and your tiny toolbox started failing you. Suddenly, sadness feels like numbness. Anger feels like panic. Fear feels like irritation. Excitement feels like anxiety.
Love feels like danger. Not because you're broken, but because your toolbox is too small. Your brain is trying to fix adult problems with children's emotional tools. This is why emotional growth is painful, because your concepts stayed the same while your world became bigger. Now here's the real magic. When you learn new emotional concepts, your brain gains new tools, new categories, new predictions. And suddenly, anxiety becomes anticipation. Sadness becomes longing. Anger becomes boundary violation. Numbness becomes overwhelm. Fear becomes uncertainty. Excitement becomes readiness. The more words you have, the more precisely your brain can interpret your body. Precision creates control, and control creates emotional freedom. Let that settle in your chest for a moment. So here's the truth we carry forward. You didn't choose your emotional concepts, but you can expand them, reshape them, and rebuild them. Your emotional world is not fixed. It's learned, and what's learned can be unlearned. What's missing can be added. What's broken can be restructured.
All right, my friend.
Up to this point, we've explored pieces of the emotional puzzle. Your body, your predictions, your childhood concepts, your culture, your brain's flexibility. But now we finally put all of it together. We revealed the exact process your brain uses to construct every emotion you've ever felt. Fear, joy, sadness, excitement, shame, anxiety. None of these just happen to you. Your brain builds them. And once you see the recipe, oh, my friend, you'll understand yourself in a way most people never do. Let's break it down gently, step by step. This is where every emotion begins. Not in your mind, not in your thoughts, but in your body. Your heart speeds up, your muscles tense, your breathing changes, your stomach churns, your temperature shifts. Sometimes the signals are strong, panic, heat, shaking. Sometimes they're subtle, a slight heaviness, a tight jaw, a restless foot. Your body is saying, something is happening. Pay attention. But your body doesn't tell you what is happening. It just whispers sensations. Your brain doesn't wait for clarity. It makes guesses, fast, emotional predictions. It scans your past experiences. When did we feel something like this before? What did it mean back then? What emotion did we use for this sensation? If your chest tightness has meant danger before, your brain predicts fear. If it once meant excitement, your brain predicts excitement. If it meant stress, your brain predicts anxiety. The body provides the raw data, but the brain writes the interpretation. Here's where your childhood and culture jump into action. Your brain now asks, what emotion category fits this? It goes through your emotional vocabulary like a dictionary. Fear? Anger? Sadness? Guilt? Excitement? Embarrassment? Love? Jealousy? If your dictionary is small, your brain is forced to guess from a tiny set of labels. That's why some people call everything anxiety, while others call everything anger. Oh, my friend, your emotional concept library determines how rich or limited your emotional world is. This is the magical moment. Your brain takes the body sensation, the prediction, the emotional concept, your past experiences, and constructs the emotion you feel. It becomes real. It becomes vivid. It becomes you. Your brain says, all right, this is fear, or this is sadness, or this is joy, or this is jealousy. And just like that, your internal experience transforms into an emotional world. Emotions aren't found, they're created. Now the emotion guides your behavior. You might freeze, speak loudly, become quiet, withdraw, attack, laugh, cry, run, overthink, shut down. Your brain constructs an emotion and your body expresses it. But here's the twist, my friend. Your reaction becomes new data. Your brain watches how you react and stores that reaction for future predictions. Meaning, your emotional habits become your emotional future. Every time you react the same way, your brain strengthens that emotional pattern. This is why people get stuck in cycles. Old emotional predictions keep being reinforced. Let's summarize the construction process in one clear flow. Body sends sensations, brain predicts the meaning, brain searches for emotional concepts, brain constructs the emotion, you react, reinforcing the pattern. This loop repeats every second, all day long, for your entire life. Emotions feel automatic because the recipe is lightning fast. But when you slow it down, you realize something powerful. At no point is the emotion forced on you. Your brain builds it every time. And what is constructed can be reconstructed. Imagine how much emotional freedom lies in that truth. Here's what you must take with you. Your emotions are not destiny. They are predictions. They are interpretations. They are constructions. Every emotion you feel is a decision your brain makes, often unconsciously, often based on old patterns, often based on outdated emotional tools. But once you see the blueprint, you can change the blueprint. Now that you understand how your brain constructs emotions, it's time for the part everyone waits for. How do you change it? How do you rewire your emotional patterns? How do you stop the emotions that hurt you and grow the ones that heal you? Here's the truth. You can't control emotions in the moment. No one can. But you can change the system that creates them. Just like changing the software on your phone, you can update the emotional software running inside your brain. Let me show you the 3 tools scientists discovered that actually reshape your emotional life from the inside out. This is the strongest tool in emotional science. Emotional granularity means giving your brain more specific emotional concepts. Instead of saying, I feel bad, try asking, is it disappointment? Is it exhaustion?
Is it loneliness? Is it overwhelm? Is it boredom? Is it frustration? Is it longing? Is it fear? Is it uncertainty? Every time you choose a more precise emotion, your brain learns a new concept. And remember Chapter 6? Your brain cannot construct an emotion it doesn't have a concept for. So when you give it more emotional vocabulary, your brain becomes smarter, calmer, more accurate. It's like upgrading from a blurry 144p video to sharp, clear emotional clarity. Oh, my friend, naming your emotions is not weakness. It's neuroscience. Your body budget, your physical energy system, is the foundation of your emotional life. If your body is depleted, your brain predicts negative emotions. Low sleep equals anxiety. Dehydration equals irritability. Hunger equals stress. Loneliness equals sadness. Tension equals anger. Fatigue equals hopelessness. Your body is constantly shaping your feelings without you realizing it. Here's the science-backed checklist for rewiring your emotional base. Sleep enough equals emotional stability. Water equals emotional clarity. Nutrition equals emotional energy. Movement equals emotional regulation. Breathing equals emotion control. Social connection equals emotional grounding. Your brain interprets physical imbalance as emotional suffering. Fix the body, the brain predicts better emotions, the emotional patterns change. Most emotional breakdowns are actually body budget breakdowns. This is subtle, powerful, and life-changing. Your brain predicts emotions based on your past, but you can teach it a different story. Let's say your heart races. Your brain predicts, fear. But instead of accepting that label, you ask, what else could this be? Excitement? Anticipation? Adrenaline? Preparation? Readiness? And suddenly, your brain begins to edit the emotional construction. This is not toxic positivity. This is predictive editing. Like telling your brain, hey, let's use a different emotional tool for this sensation. Do this consistently, and your brain learns new prediction patterns. For example, instead of predicting panic, it starts predicting energy. Instead of predicting anger, it predicts boundary alert. Instead of predicting sadness, it predicts rest needed. Oh, my friend, your emotional world changes when your predictions change. This is simple, but overlooked. Your brain uses your past to build your future. So if you want different emotions, give your brain new experiences. Read new stories. Talk to emotionally mature people. Practice silence. Reflect deeply. Try calming rituals. Travel to unfamiliar places. Learn emotional language. Practice gratitude or awareness. Every new emotional moment goes into your emotional library, and your brain uses that library to construct the emotions you'll feel tomorrow. You're literally expanding the emotional future of your brain. That's beautiful, isn't it? You don't change emotions by controlling them. You change emotions by changing the system that creates them. And the system responds to richer emotional concepts, a healthier body budget, smarter predictions, new emotional experiences. Your emotional life is not fixed. It's flexible. It's teachable. It's upgradable. Oh, my friend, your emotions are not your prison. They are your creation. If emotions are constructed, if they're predictions, if they're flexible, then here's the real question. What happens when technology begins to shape those predictions? What happens when machines learn emotions differently than we do? What happens when neuroscience gives us tools our ancestors couldn't even imagine? The future of emotion is not just about humans feeling more. It's about humans feeling differently. Let me tell you something fascinating. AI today doesn't feel sadness. It doesn't feel joy. It doesn't feel shame or fear. But oh, my friend, AI can predict your emotions better than most humans can. Your voice tone, your typing rhythm, your facial micro-expressions, your word choices, your online patterns, these give away your inner state. AI can detect depression before doctors can. AI can spot loneliness in your messages. AI can estimate anxiety levels from your breathing. Machines don't have emotions, but they understand the map of human emotion in a way the human brain never could. So who is more emotional? The one who feels or the one who predicts feeling? This is the question everyone asks. But here's the truth from neuroscience. If a machine ever becomes conscious, its emotions will not look anything like ours, because machines do not have a body budget, hunger, hormones, childhood memories, cultural concepts, introception, sensory organs like ours. A machine's emotion, if it ever appears, would be a logical construction, not a bodily one. Imagine an intelligence that feels stress, not in its chest, but in its processing load. Imagine an AI that feels fear, not as panic, but as a probability error. Oh, my friend, the future emotion may not be biological at all. Now let's come back to us, humans. Scientists are developing technologies that can change emotional construction directly. Neurofeedback. You can watch your brain's emotional patterns in real time and train them like muscles. Vagus nerve stimulation. A small electrical signal can shift you from anxiety to calm in seconds. Brain-computer interfaces. One day, you may adjust emotional states as easily as adjusting volume on a speaker. Wearable emotion labs. Your watch already tracks your heart, but soon it will guide your emotional predictions too. Imagine a device telling your brain, this sensation is not fear. Your body budget is low. Drink water. Or, this isn't sadness. You just need rest. Oh, my friend. Our ancestors had fire and stone tools. We will have emotional technology. Here's something deeper. The internet is already shaping collective emotion. Trends spread emotionally, not logically. Anxiety becomes viral. Outrage becomes contagious. Hope spreads like wildfire. Fear loops amplify themselves. Our brains evolved for tribal emotion, small groups, small circles. But now we live in a global emotional arena. Something your brain was never designed for. The future may require a new emotional intelligence, not just understanding your own feelings, but navigating billions of emotional signals every day. This is emotional evolution. We are living inside it. Let me give you the most powerful truth of this chapter. Technology won't create better emotions. Awareness will. Because once you understand, your body creates sensations, your brain predicts meaning, culture shapes concepts, patterns create the emotional future, machines read your emotions. You can rewire predictions. You step into the next version of yourself, a human being with emotional intelligence that your ancestors could not even dream of. Your emotions used to control you. Now you can shape them. Your emotions used to be mysteries. Now they're understandable. Your emotions used to be habits. Now they can be redesigned. Welcome to emotional evolution. So here's the lesson. The future of emotion is not just scientific, it's personal. AI may predict emotions. Neuroscience may shape emotions. Technology may support emotions. But you will decide the emotional world you want to live in. We've traveled a long way together. From the myths of the emotional brain to the predictions inside your skull, to the whispers of your body, to the emotional concepts you inherited, to the future of feelings shaped by AI and neuroscience. And now, we arrive at the heart of everything, the truth beneath every chapter, the truth most people live their entire lives without realizing. You are not your emotions. You are the creator of them. Let's sit with that for a moment. Because for most of your life, you've been taught to believe the opposite, that emotions happen to you, that sadness attacks you, that anxiety controls you, that anger overwhelms you, that joy surprises you, that fear traps you, that love manipulates you. You were taught to treat emotions like weather, random storms you must endure. But, my friend, weather happens outside you. Emotions happen inside you. And inside you, nothing is random. Let me tell you gently. You are not an anxious person. You are a person whose brain predicts anxiety. You are not an angry person. You are a person whose body signals have been interpreted as anger for many years. You are not a sad person. You are a person whose emotional concepts were shaped by pain, not possibility. Your emotions are not your identity. They are constructions. Your brain builds them, which means they can be rebuilt. Think of your emotions like a house. You inherited some of the walls. You inherited some of the rooms. You inherited some of the cracks. You inherited some of the light. Childhood built the foundation. Culture built the doors. Experience built the windows. Trauma left its shadows. Love painted some of the colors. But my friend, you own the house. You are the architect now. You can renovate, expand, repaint, demolish old parts, rebuild new parts, open windows where there were none, let light in where darkness lived too long. Your emotional world is a construction site, not a prison. The moment you understand that emotions are constructed, you gain something extraordinary. Choice. Not the choice to stop feeling, no, that's never the goal, but the choice to reinterpret sensations, expand emotional vocabulary, heal your predictions, calm your body budget, rewrite old emotional stories, create new emotional experiences. Choice doesn't erase pain, but it transforms the relationship you have with pain. Choice doesn't stop fear, but it teaches you to walk with fear
instead of running from it. Choice doesn't eliminate sadness, but it gives sadness dignity instead of shame. Oh, my friend, this is emotional freedom. Not the freedom from emotion, the freedom with emotion. Let me say this clearly. You create your emotional reality. And no, this is not a burden. It's your superpower. It means you can update emotional patterns. You can heal old predictions. You can redefine what your sensations mean. You can replace old concepts with new ones. You can grow beyond your past. You can teach your brain a different emotional future. The emotions you feel tomorrow do not have to look like the emotions you felt yesterday. That is the gift of being human, the gift of a brain that constructs and reconstructs. Think of your emotions like colors on a palette. Most people use the same 3 colors: anger, anxiety, sadness. But you, after this journey, you now have dozens: tenderness, anticipation, longing, clarity, discomfort, curiosity, relief, hope, ambiguity, vulnerability, strength. Your emotional world is no longer black and white. It's a painting in progress, alive, evolving, human, and you hold the brush. So, my friend, as we end this audiobook, take this final truth with you. You are not your emotions. You are the creator of them. And you can create something new, something lighter, something wiser, something truer, something that feels like you, not the version of you life forced you to become. Your brain constructs your emotions, but you construct your life. Breathe that in. Let it settle. Let it open a new chapter inside you. That's it for today, my friend. You were listening to Wise Alchemy. The story ends here for now, but you and I will meet again. Thank you.